Welcome to The Good Pod, where today we're covering The Good Wife, Season 4, Episode 6, The Art of War. I'm one of your hosts, Jason Reed. With me, someone whose craft doesn't suck, Marissa Garza. Marissa, you good?
Good, Jason. You good?
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah, a little, not a fun case to discuss this episode. A little troubling, but we did have some interesting developments that happened in this episode. Some things, we saw some characters that displayed a little more humanity this episode than we were used to. So we got all that coming up. Before we deep dive into the episode, I want to remind you of some free and easy ways you, I'm talking to you, can support this podcast. You can do that by reviewing, rating, and subscribing wherever it is you are watching and or listening. In case you haven't noticed, if you're watching the YouTube, Marissa found some fun little toys on the StreamYard, and she's added a little graphic down here to remind you to like and subscribe. Doing those things helps us get into the algorithm of people that YouTube thinks would enjoy this content. So it helps us get into the eyes and ears of more people. So please do that as you are watching or listening to help us out to do that. If you want to just chat with us about any and everything, you can also hit us up on thegoodpodfeedback@gmail.com. That is our direct email. So if we had quite a few people hit us up on the email, and we've had fun talking about those people. So come join the fun. If you would like to support us monetarily, you can do that as well. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/goodpod and put some money in our coffers. We greatly appreciate it. We've had some people do that as well, and it's I think it's the ultimate sign of your appreciation of the show to do that, to help this fledgling independent podcast stay on its feet.
Yes, we appreciate it.
With all that out of the way, Marissa, let's get into the case.
All right. Well, before we do that, I do want to talk a little bit about this opening scene in the lobby, because it kind of brings everything together at the start of this episode. We very rarely get a lobby scene. So when we do, I want to take note of it. And we see Judge Kuhn from military court sitting and waiting, and very prim, very proper. We see, unfortunately, Nick, tow truck guy, come in, plop himself down, talks to Judge Kuhn. We find out he did serve in Afghanistan as well, apparently, or at least that's what he's telling her. And then Mandy comes in, the person from the magazine, and Nick is all like, "Oh, please stay here." I'm like, "You're so magnanimous, Nick. Oh my gosh, you're such a gentleman." And then also Maddie comes in. So these are the main players of who we're going to be, talking about in this episode. But I liked how they started everyone off kind of in that same space, and then had our, the usual suspects of the law firm kind of walking in and out to like interact with them at the start of the episode.
Yeah, I love, because we see Will get off the elevator and seemingly like what, just like a normal day. He's like, wait a minute, did I just see Colonel Kuhn, aka the judge I spar with all the time in military court? I couldn't have seen that, like, right?
Freaked out. He's like, what are you doing here? And just like, to court martial you. so funny. And he's like, ha ha ha. No, but really, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, I'm here to see Alicia. Well, does she know you're here? Because like, if she knew she was here, you'd like be in there. She's like, I gave my name. It's like, no. Let me take you back. And then they go into the conference room, and Judge Kuhn is like, or Colonel Kuhn is like, we don't need you, Will. I don't need you. And
Bye. Bye. And Will, this is like, I don't know how many times this has been that Will has just been dismissed by clients so they can talk to Alicia. It's like, all right, Will, you're no longer needed. Bye. And this is the last we will see of Will for this episode. And you know why?
You told me this before. This was very surprising and also makes sense. I enjoyed this reason why.
Little fun fact, this is the first episode that Josh Charles is directing of The Good Wife. I was looking it up, and in all, Josh Charles directed 3 episodes of The Good Wife, 1 per season through season 5. So yeah, he's directing this episode. Usually, and this is quite a thing that happens in these type of shows. Like when an actor that's on the show directs the episode, they're not really in the episode. They make a little bit of a cameo, and then they kind of step back.
They wave.
Because being a director, is a lot of work, and so I guess they don't have time to act as well as direct. So yeah, Will's going to take his exit off of the stage after he delivers Colonel Coon to Alicia and gets summarily dismissed.
It was so funny because even Alicia's like, but he's a partner, and I'm just like, fourth year. Colonel Coon's like, I'm aware. Bye. But basically, she wants Alicia to take a case where a female JAG officer was attacked, basically raped by a man on the base, and because of the way that modern warfare works now, it was a person who worked for a contractor. And so this episode in particular does a lot of things well. One is kind of explaining the landscape of war in this moment in time, because it's not just soldiers going out there. It is also contractors who contract with the military, who apparently get the same rights as people who serve in the military. One of them being that they cannot be sued or held liable for anything that happens while they're in the well, not anything, but for this particularly. So this JAG officer is kind of in the middle here, saying like, I can't sue the military, but I do want to sue this contracting firm because I want some justice done somewhere. So basically, Colonel Coon is like, hey, Alicia, we need you to take this case. Which Alicia is like, why me? But I thought it was a good pick. I thought it was a good pick for her.
So I think the last time we saw Colonel Coon, they had there was some issue, like it was the young lady that had bombed a village, and her contention was that she was ordered to bomb the village, and there was some error or something. And I think Alicia and the judge had kind of come to a head about like, but these children are all dead, and the judge is like, well, I mean, listen, that's just kind of the war. That's the art. That's quote unquote the art of war. So I think when Alicia last left the judge, she had this like, they didn't have the greatest of confrontations after that case. So Alicia's like, oh, like I was the one you chose for this? Like, why?
Yeah, she even says like, last time we met, it wasn't that great. And she's like, nope, we need you. Like, we need you. And it is proven quite soon why we need her, because we go and we meet Captain Hellinger, who is the aforementioned JAG officer who was raped in this case. And I got to tell you, Jason, I have not seen this woman on my screen in a hot minute. I was happy to see her here, but what has gone on with Amanda Peet? Where is she these days? Do we know?
That's a good question. So Amanda Peet was kind of like a, I would say late 90s, early 2000s kind of darling, right? She was, darling is the wrong word, but
she was in a lot of things.
She was in a lot of stuff. I think she broke out in the comedy Whole Nine Yards with Matthew Perry and Bruce Willis. She's on Studio 16, The Sunset Strip. She has been around, but nothing that like stands out. I'm trying to look up her IMDb right now to see what she was last in. Let's see, Your Friends and Neighbors.
Oh, yeah, the Apple TV with John Hamm.
Yep. So that she's in 9 episodes of that. So that's where she's most recently in. A TV miniseries based on Fatal Attraction. I remember that. That was in 2023. Dirty John in 2020. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's been around. Oh, Brockmire. I know what Brockmire is. So she's been here. She's been around. She just hasn't been like out there.
We were so used to seeing her pretty much in anything and everything for quite some time. So I'm glad she's still doing stuff, because she's pretty good. She's a pretty good actress.
Yeah.
Here she's playing again Captain Hellinger, who is a JAG officer who has been raped, and she thinks she can do this. She thinks she can, defend herself in court, and she's like, "Don't worry, Alicia, I don't need you." But Colonel Coon is like, you need her because she knows civil law and you don't. And so why don't you just at least let her read the brief? And when Alicia reads the brief, she's like, yeah, the judge is going to throw this out. Like, you're using too many adjectives. You're not doing all this stuff. You don't have the information you need to really go further. And so Captain Hellinger's like, well, how do we do that? And Alicia's like, consultation over. Do I have the job? Because I will help you if you want.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna need to get paid if I'm gonna say one word more.
Yeah, good for you. Good boundaries there, Alicia.
Yeah, and I like this because it's interesting to show the evolution for Alicia, because season 1 Alicia might have been like too worried about saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing. Maybe she was too green. But this is like Alicia's in her bag in this moment. She's like, I'm gonna school this young kid about how to like practice law in the civil way. But she's like, it's like, hey, you want me to help you? You gotta pay up, girl. It's like Alicia's kind of really coming to her own. It was a moment for me to be like, Alicia's really like that. She's that girl. She's her.
Well, and she, has been a mentor, even though the mentorship didn't work out. She has had, moments where she's, and even in this episode, I think she kind of sees a little bit of her old self in Captain Hellinger, because Captain Hellinger is like very eager. Like, what about in this? So we get to see a little bit of that here as well. Luckily for us, the viewers, this case has been assigned to Judge Abernathy's court. Always a delight, always a fun time. He opens up this court session by saying, I hope everyone's staying cool on this very hot day in November. 0.1 for global warming, 0.1 for zero. And he's like, okay, I won't talk about it anymore. But he's like, he's there. He realizes, okay, we're here in court. There's a military woman in my court. So he then also makes his personal thoughts known here of like, I respect the uniform, even though our government decides to do really, really not so great things with you. But
it's interesting his stance on the military, because it kind of cuts both ways. He's like, I respect the military, but I don't agree with all things they do. Like he kind of both sides it in a way.
I mean, also, Judge Abernathy, I would love to see you in 2025. Like, that would be, I would love to see something in his court. But yeah, I liked how he said that. But Martinel's security is here and being represented by a man that I like. He is a legend to me. I don't know why. I think it was just like something my dad like watched a lot of Brian Dennehy stuff, and so like anytime he came on, I was like, "It's Brian Dennehy."
Yeah, I just by looking at Brian Dennehy, I was like, I know this is Brian Dennehy. I know this is a guy. I can't say I've watched a lot of Brian Dennehy things. I looked up his IMDb. I was like, I mean, nothing I would really watch. He seems to have been the titular, I don't know if he's a detective or a person, because I forgot what the name was, but it was like the kind of like how Blue Bloods guy Tom Selleck, it was this like he's some other sheriff or something, his sheriff name, cool title name. Brian Dennehy has like 5 of those TV movies.
Yes.
Yeah. So where do you know Brian Dennehy from, Marissa?
Well, I think I know him from a bunch of stuff. Again, like I said, that my dad watched, but I did see him in a play in person.
Ooh.
When I was very lucky to have parents that took me on like field trips, and so we would go to the theater and see things. And Brian Dennehy was in this play, and he just has like this presence. It's like, I don't think that because I too was looking back through his IMDb, and I was like, why do I remember so much of, like, why is he having this reaction in me seeing him again? And I think it's just because he just has a presence and is so dynamic at what he does. Because here I really liked his character. I didn't like his character, but then I really liked his character.
Yeah, by the end, they really what am I trying to say? Not legitimize. They really why is the word escaping me? They redeem his character by the end of the episode.
Very much so. But right now he's playing a lawyer who's like, just call me Bucky. Bucky, representing the company as opposed to the military here, Martinel's security. And he's arguing basically like they're immune from any civil liability because they are part of the military. And there's this case that's basically said that like, if there are people that are working on a consultative basis with the military on military operations, active operations, they're covered by the same hierarchy, the same everything that the military is. So people can't sue the company. So like, okay, so if for some reason there's like a contracting company that would like be friends with like an organization maybe that sounds like something you'd put in your beverage to make cold, and they like, I don't know, threw tear gas at you and you like had to go to the hospital because there was something there. You could not sue that consulting company because it was acting on government orders. Just hypothetically, if
Yeah,
that was the thing that would happen.
Sounds so far-fetched, Marissa. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, that's why I chose it, because like, you know, you just gotta have something.
How did you even come up with that fiction in your head? I don't get it.
But that's the basis, right, of what's trying to be argued here. And so basically what I love about Judge Abernathy is he's like, if I could, I really would just like side with you, but you have to prove that Martinell security is subjective to the military or is not subjective to the military hierarchy for me to like continue, let this case go forward.
Right.
And at this whole time, Captain Hellinger, aka Laura, is looking at, and she's like, they're going after Ferris. And Alicia knows that this case is coming up. She doesn't even like hesitate, anything like that. And at the end of this little court scene, Laura goes, "You're good." And Alicia's, "I've had a lot of practice." And she's like, "No, take the compliment." And I really appreciate this entire episode from the perspective of a woman, because like,
did you say of a woman?
Of a woman. A woman.
Instead of a
woman, a womb, a woman,
a womb, a womb, and get it? Oh,
yeah,
I think I just uncovered the origin of the word woman.
Yeah, watch out, History Channel.
Look at me. Look at me, being smart.
I think, I don't know. I just, it's hard to accept compliment. And I think, like, at least for me, it reminded me of like, I've done things, but I will always say, "Oh, that's just because I practice a lot," or "That's just because I did this a lot," or "Oh, that's the thing." And I don't really accept any compliments. So the fact that Alicia doesn't really accept any, that I was like, okay, this is not a me thing.
Take her from someone that talks to Marissa on a weekly basis. She does not like to take compliments. She's not like to take thank yous or anything like that.
I'm working on it.
I know. I think Alicia here, like, she sees this case and she tells Hellinger at the end, like, let's win this shit, because it's like Alicia's ready to fight for this. She's like, she's passionate about this, which rightfully so, because this is a very gross thing that happened to Captain Hellinger. And I think Alicia does take this on as a personal vendetta, like not vendetta, but a personal fight too.
And that the government is the barrier here. The government is the thing that is not allowing. And what I really like about this entire setup is that, you know, we were introduced to Colonel Kuhn for many episodes, not many, but a couple episodes. And she is very by the book. She's like, this is what the military is. This is what I can and cannot do. And she knows that Hellinger was raped and she cannot do anything about it in her world. So she had to go outside of her world and lean on Alicia here to kind of move this forward. And that is like what women have to do all of the time. It's like, James Brown was right. It's a man's world. And so like women have to figure out how to maneuver within this. And this was an example of like Colonel Kuhn being able to keep her integrity and keep herself safe in her world while also trying to help Captain Hellinger.
And we've really done the work with Colonel Kuhn throughout all of her appearances, because this is yet another like recurring character that we get an episode from at least once a year or once a season, I should say.
I love it.
And she's, you know, when we first meet her, she's just like super cold, super by the book, super like I have no emotion person. The second, third meetings, we see like a little bit of humanity from Colonel Kuhn in different situations. Here, it's like she has a passion for this, maybe based on past things for her in the military, and we see her really being like a champion for Captain Hellinger in this moment, almost like you could see that maybe like Kuhn is like a mentor to Hellinger. She takes this under her wing so seriously, like so much so as to like seek Alicia out and to do other things that she's going to do later in the episode to make sure justice is done. So like that is it's a really great full moment character moment for Colonel Kuhn, which I wouldn't even be surprised if like this is the last time ever that we see Colonel Kuhn, because it really feels like a full circle moment for this character to get this like really kind of personal story.
I hope it's not, because I enjoy her a lot, and I also enjoyed like how sassy she was with Will at the beginning of this episode. Like we got to that point where she's like, "I'm here to court martial you."
I also think it would be interesting to see Alicia and Colonel Kuhn face off again, where Alicia thinks they have some sort of like camaraderie now. Like,
yeah,
we good, right? Colonel Coon's like, no, I still got a job to do. We not sisters. Like, I'm still a judge in your court. So to go back to that kind of like stoicness of Colonel Coon after we saw such personal story, for her to be like, nope, I know we had a thing, but I'm still going to be an impartial judge. So don't try and suck up to me. I'm going to show you so much that you can't suck up to me that I'm probably going to like do stuff
make it harder for you.
Make it harder for you. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that would be interesting to see afterwards. But I just wouldn't be surprised if like this is like a full circle Colonel Coon moment. Maybe this is like her swan song of being on the good life. But yeah, like you said, I would enjoy. It's always enjoyable to see Colonel Coon in the mix.
Her and or the like guy with the glasses in military court. I like him too.
Yeah, he's cool too.
Okay, back in the case, we have the CEO on the stand, and basically here, Bucky, Brian Dennehy, is saying, like, you answer to the chain of command, right? So you're basically, like, in the military, and the CEO is like, yeah, if we didn't do that, we would have chaos. So Alicia's response to this is like, oh, okay, you're part of the chain of command? What rank do you want me to refer you to? Like, everyone's like, okay. Even Abernathy is like, I get your point, but you really kind of, like,
you still gotta prove it.
Shut it down.
Yeah, you still gotta go. You still gotta do the work. Like, that's not enough.
So I think here we see that there is a camaraderie between Hellinger and Alicia, because Hellinger is feeding Alicia rules on the penalty for insubordination in the military, different things about the difference between an ask and an order, and an email from the good old CEO here that basically is joking with the military, saying, like, we're gonna go on strike until we get what we want, which is considered insubordination. And Alicia makes this man read from the book and say, if there's any insubordination in the military, you'll get court-martialed. Did you get court-martialed? No. So she has proven that they are not part of the overall hierarchy that they are testing is protecting them. So Abernathy says, okay, here we go. Like, let's get the case going. So they put Ricky Waters, the man who is accused of rape, aka actually did it, because they make that pretty clear in this entire thing. He's on the stand. He's again a consultant that is working with the military, and he has the audacity. This is how I knew he did this. He's on the stand and he turns to Captain Hellinger and goes, Laura, I didn't mean anything by it. And Alicia is like, shut up. Like, do not even brother. Try.
Don't cut it, brother. Don't do that shit. Like, he's like,
do not address my client. And if you do, it's Captain Hellinger. Okay.
Like, yeah. In a lot of TV and media, that's an instant like, oh, he definitely did it. Like, yeah, he definitely did it. He's that's how you know he's guilty. So yeah, I like how Alicia's like, hey, sir, do not address my client. If you do address my client, put some respect on her name and call her Captain Hellinger. Okay.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. His side of the story is like, hey, look, we're getting drinks at the bar and she kept hitting on me, and our offices are close together. So I followed her back to the office, and she apparently took offense to my rebuffing of her advances. And, you can see that I was in my office because I sent an email at 10, which is 10 minutes after midnight. I'm not good with the military time, peeps. I'll just let you know that. And after this is put out in court, she's just like, please don't let that be true. Please don't let that be true. And Kalinda's like, he sent the email.
Yeah,
here it is. It's true. It is true. But there's good news, because there was also another email sent from the office next door, which means somebody should be around as a witness. Turns out, military is going to military, and they're not letting Sergeant Wade, I forget his last name. Compton be subpoenaed to come back to the U.S. to be in this case. So both Alicia and Captain Hellinger go to Colonel Coon and are like, hey, we're in a bind here. Is there anything you can do? Hellinger, she understands right away. She's like, Colonel, Captain, they leave. Alicia's like, what are we doing here? Are you going to help us or not? What is going on? And Coon is like, I can't. If I could do something, I would do something, but I can't do something. But it turns out she could do something. This is why I love the military cases, because there's always one little bending loophole, one little thing in there that can kind of make the whole case. At the beginning of this episode, Colonel Coon lets us know that she's working on a panel about the mainstreaming of gender in the military. So she calls Sergeant Wade Compton in for this panel in Chicago and says, hey, I got a question for you. What do you think about this? And he's like, I guess it's good.
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. It's Wade is like so confused why he is here. He's like, y'all called me here
From
Afghanistan for this. I wasn't down the street. I was across the world, and you maybe get on a plane to just say, I'm fine with mainstreaming of gender. Should be confused. I don't blame him. He's like, what the hell? But yeah, of course, and I loved Colonel Coon be like, there's just no way I can do anything to make this happen. And then in her head, she's like, no, I got away. I'm just messing with him. I'm gonna get him over here. And so yeah, and the way that this comes about, just like, hey, like, yeah, I can legally throw my weight around to do something, and it also benefit you because this guy is back here in America, which is what you needed. So girls, go get him.
Yeah, and it's really cute because in both Alicia and Hellinger are in the courtroom when Sergeant Wade is questioned about this. And Colonel Coon makes it super clear. She's like, yep, that's our only question. Thanks for coming in. Have a great day. And Alicia gives her a little head nod. And then like the next thing, like, hey, do you have some time? Like we could use some help. And he's like, it turns out I have a lot of time. Mm-hmm. And so he ends up going on the stand. He testifies that he did hear a struggle during the night. And she did resist, advances. And this is where, again, Brian Dennehy, this is where he earns my heart, because he takes a look and he just like looks at that Waters man. Yeah. And he's just like, you did do this, you jerk. You did do this. Yeah, like, okay, fine.
Because Wade like lays it out there like in vivid detail about what happened. Like, he heard a struggle, he ripped Captain Hellinger's like shirt, like
there was even talk of a demotion because like all of this stuff. And it was hard because Wade answered to Waters. Like, Waters was basically his boss.
Yeah, so props to Wade for coming in here and acting, because at first, Bucky is like, hey, yo, we can't, that's hearsay. He can't, like, you can't let him testify. And which is, I didn't know this was a thing, but Alicia's like, hearsay is disregarded if the testimony he gives actually works against his own interest, which is what this would be, because he's basically pissing off his boss right now by testifying against Ricky Waters. So why would this man come up here and lie if it's something that what he says is going to work against his own interests? Like, oh, that is interesting. That is something that actually makes sense about the law, not the fact that contractors are immune from litigation. I was like, that's crazy, but this actually makes sense and is interesting. So, props to Wade for doing this. I don't know why he, I don't know. I wish I could have seen a little bit more of what Alicia and Hellinger said to him to convince him to do this, because it just went from them confronting him and then he's just in court the next moment. I wish we could have seen if he has some hesitancy and they said whatever to convince him, because he's known this the whole time, but he didn't come forward because he was nervous about this. But whatever Alicia and Hellinger said got him to agree to come here.
Or maybe, Captain Coon had a little help in that aspect of like, you'll be protected if you say something. I don't know. Possibly. I don't know. But okay, so Bucky had looked over at Waters and did the thing,
like,
but
you
then
piece of shit. He's looking at like, you piece of shit, but I still gotta do my job anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, he does do his job. He's like, oh, okay, well, if you heard all this, what time did you hear this around? And poor innocent Wade, he's so cute. He's just like, I was waiting to email my girlfriend because of the time difference, so I knew it was like around midnight. It's like, oh, midnight, you say? Interesting. Here's the papers that show that Waters was called to active duty at midnight that day. So technically, he is covered by the military hierarchy. And Abernathy is like, I can't do anything here. Like, he's like, this is it. If you can prove that any of this happened before midnight, I can help you, but I cannot help you otherwise.
Boy, loopholes help and loopholes hurt as well. Yeah, because Waters, in addition to being a contractor, was also a reservist.
Correct.
So yeah, he was called from reserve to active, And after, at the time of the attack, so like you said, technically he was a active military person, so he is immune from this type of litigation, which is like, oh, bummer.
Bum town. And so Diane and Alicia kind of have to sit Laura down, and Laura is such a lawyer. She's like, but I didn't feel scared until after midnight. And Alicia and Diane are like, listen, but did you think like you were in danger at all any time before midnight? Like, can you do this? And stop being a lawyer. We're your lawyers. Like, you think about this as a woman. How much did this play in your mind at the time? So she goes on the stand and she's like, he wouldn't take no for an answer. I was feeling scared the whole time. So basically she sets the case for a prolonged assault. Bucky comes in and says, that's so cute. That's like cute as in trite, not as in cute as in anything else. Because I have this text message that you sent to your friend on your way home from the bar to your office. And it doesn't sound like you're in fear for your safety at all, because you say, good thing I have the day off tomorrow. I'm off to catch some Z's. The fact, not that I have feelings about this or anything, but like women can't, it's like, you're not going to text, hey, by the way, like, especially in the military context, P.S., by the way, I am walking from a guy, you know what I mean? Like some girl, now I think it's a little bit more commonplace, and especially because like we do things like sharing locations and stuff like that. Like but in 2012, like I don't think that, women don't report for a reason. This is one of the reasons.
It's crappy because it's not as if she realized she was being followed in that moment. She thought it was over because she extricated herself from the bar. She thought that it was over. The troubling activity of him like not taking no for an answer started here. She thought she got away from it, but she didn't. So it was a prolonged encounter. We just had a little bit of a break until she realized that she was being followed by Ricky Waters, and that's when the assault took place. It's just like, I was like, that's bullshit. Like I literally typed in my notes, like she didn't even know she was being followed though at the time she sent that text message. I was like, that's BS.
It was very much BS, but unfortunately, alas, Abernathy, after giving the situation much thought, as he would, starts off his judgment. And it's not going to be good, because he's like, to be denied justice once is horrible, but to be denied it twice is exceptionally cruel. But unfortunately, there's nothing I can do here. He was an active member. He can't be held responsible or liable for these actions, and the case is dismissed. At this point, Ricky, I keep saying Rivers because the other one, Ricky Waters stands up and is like, thanks, Bucky. Thanks so much. And Bucky's like, no way, man. Like, bye. I cannot believe you exist here. Like, get out of my world.
Get lost, loser. I was like, oh, good, Bucky. Good for you. I didn't wonder if like Brian Dennehy was like, maybe show I'm a good guy by like having this moment where I don't shake his hand.
We're not doing that. And then he has, again, Waters has the audacity. He's like, well, if Bucky doesn't like me, I know what I'll do is I'll go just make sure that I'm good with Laura, right? Ugh. Like the person. So he walks over there, and Coon has no time, and is like, stand down, get out of here. And he's like, okay, I'll go now.
Coon was amazing. Her voice is like, step back. Like, oh, okay, good. All right, cool. And I mean, listen, to have the unearned confidence of a mediocre white man is, a desire.
May we all.
For real. And the audacity and the unmitigated gall of this man to decide to do that, to think that's just okay now, after knowing what he did. It's like, bruh, you suck real bad.
So bad. And here Hellinger recognizes her world, because Alicia's like, we're gonna appeal, this was gonna happen. It's like, no, I got him in court. That's more than I thought we would ever get, but what do I do now? And Alicia's like, well, you pick yourself back up and you go back out there. The case of the week. Anything else that I missed there, Jason, or anything else you wanted to comment on before we go through the other elements in this episode?
No, I think we got it. I think we covered it all.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I do enjoy these little military sidebars of sorts. And I like that it was on like civil ground and not in military court. We had some things happen with the firm this episode. It was actually kind of funny because Eli's office is being used because Clark, of course, is like renting out offices, putting people in offices, trying to do all this stuff. And when he's confronted by it, Clark is like, it's just going to have to happen. This is crap. This sucks. Yeah. Like all of this stuff. And Diana's like, what is going on? And also, like, Clark tells Eli, like, look, we're going to get your business no matter what. You're a partner here. You get 5% off the top. Like, I don't know what to tell. Like, you can pull this whole like campaign. When I win the campaign thing, we're going to get more money. So I should deserve an office. But it's going to happen whether you have an office or not because you're here.
And Clark is like, listen, bro, you haven't been here in 2 months because you're busy. You're off gallivanting with Peter on his campaign. So we decided since you weren't going to show up, we can make some money by renting out your office. Eli, of course, is like, that's ridiculous. This will not stand. And Clark gives him the riot act of like, you ain't going nowhere, bro. Like, because Eli's like, I bring a lot of business here, and I could bring the governor's business here because Clark's like, come on, man. Come on, bro.
It's gonna happen anyway.
You're gonna come here either way. So why are you even playing these games? Which not many people shut Eli down. Eli was just like, and he just turns and walks away.
Like Diane is like, he's right. Like, this is what's going on. And so there's another scene later in the episode where Diane and Clark are kind of reviewing the books. And again, we get this like, this all sucks. This is crap. Diane's like, what the heck is going on? But she notices that Clark has been talking to Carrie a lot in this episode. So she goes over to Carrie and is like, hey, what's going on with your buddy Clark over here? And she's like, well, he wanted to help. I could talk to him. But also, Diane, I just want to let you know, like, is Will mad at me? Because, like, I haven't been on any criminal cases yet. And this is pure Carrie negotiation because he's like, you want me to go talk to Clark? Get me on some criminal cases. And Diane knows it. And she's like, oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, let me take a look. Let me see what's going on. Turns out Clark was just reading Steve Jobs' bio. And apparently this was like a symptom of it because it happened at the state's attorney's office as well. And in the end, Carrie did end up getting some criminal cases. So it works out for him.
Yeah, I have Diane's little smirk when she realized what Carrie was doing. She's like, oh, there's my mentee.
There's my boy.
There's a guy I've been training. Don't give something up without getting something. Good job, Carrie. So yeah, it's very interesting. Like you rub my back, I'll rub your back, or it's scratch. I was like, rub sounds wrong. It's like you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. And it's like good thing come this little little negotiation in here and come to something.
Which means we're like one step closer to seeing him back in court and facing one of his co-workers, hopefully Geneva Pine.
That's right.
It'll probably be Matan, but hopefully Geneva Pine.
Give me Geneva.
So we'll see what happens there. On the Kalinda front, luckily, small amount of news to report on this episode. But Nick ends up losing the bid to the city for his tow truck business. He's so pissed. He's like, but I had a black guy. Yeah. And I did all the right things by Chicago. Like, I had all the stuff.
At least, like, well, the other person had a black guy and a female. So you should have thought of that. Because Alicia has had enough of Nick. Because Nick comes in, he's all pouty. He like kicks the desk, and Alicia's like, "What the hell, man? What the hell?" And we
not only that, Carrie's also got eyes too. He's like,
They are both like, good. He lost the bid. Let's get him the hell out of our life. Yeah, Carrie, who still doesn't, who knows now something's going on with Nick and Kalinda, but he doesn't know the exact things that's going on with Kalinda and Nick. But
he doesn't like it. He does not like how Nick talks to Kalinda, and so he is carrying the situation. Mm-hmm. And so Alicia tells Kalinda, and Kalinda's like, "Cool, bye." Like, she has like no response at all. And Carrie tells Alicia later in the episode, like, "Hey, look, there is a way that this bid could be invalidated because it turns out on the other team there was a government employee, and you can't bid to the city if you work for the city. So therefore, we could have it invalidated if we wanted to."
Get my meaning, Alicia? Wink, wink. And Alicia's like, I'll handle it. Don't worry about it. Like, oh.
I did not think though that this was her way of like handling it. So they go out for a drink and we don't even see the resolution, I think, of this handling, because they have a drink, tells Kalinda like, hey, we could do this. Do you want to do this? Do you love him? She says no. Is he dangerous? Sometimes. Well, what is it? Like, I have a hard time staying away from him. Yeah. And then that's it.
How many times is Alicia going to ask if this man is dangerous? She's asked like 1,000. Is he dangerous? She's told you the answer several times. But yeah, I think it's more. This is more of a like we see, but the problem is we still don't know like why Kalinda cannot stay away from this man.
No, she says I have difficulty staying away from him, and I'm like, is this a mirror for Peter and Alicia? Like, Alicia can't stay away from Peter. Is that what we're trying to do here? But also, like, what was the resolution? Are we getting Peter? Are we doing the bid or not? Like, I have no idea.
I will find out in subsequent episodes, I'm sure. But I would love to just hear from Kalinda or see, like, you know what would have been great? A flashback. I know this show does not do flashbacks a whole lot, but I would have loved a flashback to Kalinda and Nick when things were good between them and when they had good moments, just to give me some context of why Kalinda's doing this, like why Kalinda is choosing to stay with this man.
Or if it's not with them being good, unfortunately, it's more likely that it's something that happened bad in her childhood that keeps her linked to such a toxic situation. But we have no context here other than what we see, which makes no sense to us at the moment.
Yeah, because I get the whole, you're in a toxic relationship, but you can't see your way out of it. You feel like you belong there, you feel like you can't leave for whatever reason, but I need more context, and we're going to say that to her blue in the face every episode that Nick is in. We're going to say we don't get it until nonetheless they show us why Kalinda is so enamored with this man, because all we've seen is real bad stuff. So it's like,
and out of character stuff for Kalinda, like we even like she wouldn't. Blake did mean things and she didn't stand up for it. This man is doing mean things and she lets it happen. And so I don't really
why is she taking shit from this guy?
Yeah.
When she hasn't taken shit from any other person in our orbit. So it needs more explaining. It needs better writing, to be honest.
For sure. To wrap up this episode, we did have some things going on with the campaign, and just to remind everyone, Mandy magazine. Think Mandy magazine, and then think Maddie money. Okay, so we've got
important.
Maddie from the magazine questions Maddie with the money in the lobby while they're waiting, because they're both there at the start of this episode, and it's like, well, what do you think about that story about Peter sleeping with the campaign manager? And we don't see Maddie's reaction, but we learn later she just like up and left the office. She did not say anything. And Mandy, on her way to like talk to Eli, is like, hey, they're running the story. And Eli's like, you're running a story that has no truth. Well, it's topic of conversation now. Like, we gotta run it. And by the way, like, Maddie was here, but she just up and left. And he's like, Maddie, like, oh my gosh, where is she? And Eli is like, okay, we got to take care of the story. Kalinda, what can you find out? Can you find out something that we can use on Mandy to stop her from printing the story? And at the same time, this really doesn't go anywhere this episode, but I'm sure we'll later. Kalinda is very distracted in this whole conversation with Eli and brings up the picture that Nick got from Lana's apartment. It basically asks Eli, like, are you being investigated by the feds?
Is this about you or is this about me? Yeah. It's not sure, because either one of us could be investigated by the feds for many different reasons. We just gotta figure out who it is.
It's bad. No matter what, like, this is happening. And so then Eli brings in Kristen Chenoweth, who played a reporter at the beginning of the season, who wrote a story about Peter, and basically lets it go of like, hey, so, just so you know, Maddie, the person who got this story, her cousin went to jail while Peter was in the state's attorney. So therefore, we think that this is retribution for that. And Kristen Chenoweth's like, I don't know, but I guess I'll check it out. And Jason, you found out some really interesting trivia about her because like we only see Kristen Chenoweth for a very small period of time in this episode.
Yeah,
she's just like there and then not.
I was on the IMDb doing my thing like I do, and under the trivia portion, it was revealed that Kristen Chenoweth suffered an onset injury while taping an episode of The Good Wife. It doesn't say this is exactly the episode, but I am assuming since it was in this episode's trivia that it was probably this episode, that a piece of lighting equipment fell on Kristen Chenoweth while she was taping The Good Wife, and it was like pretty big injury to her. It took her months to recover. She had was knocked unconscious. She had to form sentences again when she woke up. It was a pretty big injury
deal.
that happened to her. And Marissa, you said you had recalled this happening like in the real time.
Yeah, because I was like, oh my god, is she ever gonna sing again? Like, what's going on? Like, bad news. Like, I just remember being worried. I'm not as concerned these days as I was back then
for reasons.
But we'll just put it that way. But I was concerned because she had become pretty popular through the Wicked of it all, and then there was Pushing Daisies, and she's making her she's around, she's doing her stuff, and I was just like, oh no, what's gonna happen? But I remember the story of that, and I also think I think the rumor mill got around because for some reason I thought she got struck by lightning, but I don't know if she also got struck by lightning somewhere else. I don't know if that's something else that happened to her. So we'll have to keep our eyes open for other, because she was also in the West Wing, and I don't know if that happened on the West Wing as well, or if that was with her character. My mind is kind of a little muddy on that part, but yes, she was injured and out for a while.
Yeah, so this might be the last we see of Peggy, aka Kristen Chenoweth, on The Good Wife, and that will be why. Because that was a wild story that I was like, oh, I did not know this had happened. I didn't realize it.
Yeah. So, but good on Eli for trying to find a way to make this work. And also, I mean, this is the bare minimum.
Good on Eli for trying to extort someone to do something he wants.
But obviously for his he didn't give up. He didn't just say okay, the story's going out. And Peter does tell Alicia hey, the story's coming out, this is what it is.
They are really hitting us over the head with hey, Peter's being communicative, right?
I know.
So we've seen a couple of times now he's directly calling Alicia, telling her every up to the minute details about what's going on. It's like, oh, okay, I guess it's a way of
don't fall for it.
Yeah, I know, Marissa. You can't believe Peter did anything good, but I think they're going out of their way to show hey, he's trying to be a good guy. He's trying to do right by Alicia in this instance. Yeah.
And at the same time, Jackie is back, and she had a care worker, which I was excited to see, but then she of course fires her right away, and
literally is
pushes her away.
Jackie, come on now.
Yeah, it was not great. And while on the phone, Peter's like, Alicia, do you know anybody else? She's like, no. But why don't you try a man? Because maybe that'll go a little bit better. And so we get to meet Christian. Christian is here. He is, I think, the perfect antidote to Jackie, because Jackie's like, I don't need you. And he's like, great, I'll just collect my paycheck. That's what it is. Although he is Cuban, which does take Jackie a while to kind of accept.
Yes, as you would expect if you know anything about Jackie. It's it's interesting to see because it's because Alicia has this moment of oh, I know exactly what to do. Hire her a man. It's good to see. This is the reason why people come to Alicia. She has these epiphanies. She has these good advice ideas, and it gives Peter exactly what he needs this moment, a way to pacify Jackie.
Yeah, and I love Christian because Jackie, of course, is Peter, I do not need this. I do not need this man or anything like that. And Christian responds. I was great, then I won't get, I'll just collect my paycheck. She's do not eavesdrop. It's well, don't talk so loud when you gossip. Perfect match.
He gives as good as he gets, which is what really is helpful here, because he's I'm not gonna take your shit. I'm gonna push back on you. I was oh, okay, yeah.
And I gotta tell you, unfortunately, when you're at that age, that's what you need. You need someone who will call you out on your stuff and serve it right back to you, because that's just, at least that has been my experience with my grandparents.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything like that.
And I forgot to look up Christian.
Oh yeah, who is he?
As we were doing our research, Yul Vasquez, who very recognizable. Marissa, you might recognize him from Severance.
Yeah, he was in the first season. That's Yul. Oh yeah, he was in a bunch of other stuff too. Like who else was he though?
He's in movies, Bad Boys 2, American Gangster, Captain Phillips,
Yul.
Russian Doll.
Yes.
So he's got a career. Like I know he was recognizable to me. I was like, oh yeah, I've seen that guy before, but just totally forgot to look him up. Before this, so I just kind of on the fly was trying to look it up. So yeah, he's been in quite a few things. He's known. He's definitely known.
Yes. And I loved him in Russian Doll. Russian Doll is also a good show. Anyway, but I'll talk about that. I have a whole other podcast about that, but not on the
Russian Doll Pod.
If you want to check that out.
The Rush Pod, hosted by Marissa Garza.
It was a while ago, but it's out there. Okay. So yeah, yay Christian, yay Yul. Hopefully he will be around a little bit more, because we do see later Jackie's trying to read an ad and he's like, well, maybe if you wear your glasses.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe you would do okay.
By the end of this thing, Christian and Jackie are chumming it up, which really weirds Peter out, because he's like, because at first Peter likes the fact that Christian's like pushing back. He's like, oh yeah, this is exactly what you need, Jackie. Go for it. And then he's looking at it like, is Christian trying to bang my mom? Like, what's going on here?
He's like talking about dancing. And we just gotta teach you the I think it was the mambo. We just gotta teach you that, and you're gonna be fine. And then also like Eli's like, listen, she's happy she's out of our face. Like, just let it be. So we got that going on. And then we also find out that Maddie has plans of her own. So Maddie was at the office not to talk to Eli, but to talk to Alicia, because she wanted to tell Alicia, and she does go later in the episode and tell her, hey, P.S. by the way, I'm going to be running for governor. That cool? Are we cool? Are we good? I know it'll probably affect our friendship, but I thought Peter could be our feminist candidate, but obviously based on this news, it's not going to work. So I'm just going to self-fund and I'm going to run for governor. And I do have to say, I currently live in a state of Illinois where the governor self-funded of his own elections, and it works out pretty good. I still got rights. I still got stuff. I'm just saying, FYI, this is not a foreign concept to me now, but when Maddie was doing it, probably not a good idea. But
to me, I was like, a billionaire that runs for office? What could go wrong?
Oh, yeah. No, like we're very, like, it's very skeptical. And I don't think, it's very weird living in a state that run by a billionaire who's a governor who also like has a brain and sense and like does stuff. Very weird. But this is like, again, this is 2012. So this is like when this whole, I think like Bloomberg's doing some stuff. Like we had some of these people entering races, and so she stops by, and I gotta say, what do you think about this? Because Alicia goes over and says, hey Eli, P.S. by the way, Maddie is running for governor. And also I kind of told her some things because she befriended me. So do you buy Maddie's line of thinking here, saying like I befriended her and then like I didn't know I was going to run for governor, but I just ended up doing it? Or do you think from Alicia's point of view, like she was used the whole way?
So it's interesting. Well, let's talk about Alicia's reaction to what Maddie told her as well. Because Alicia, I think it immediately is suspicious. So like, oh, okay. So you were using me this whole time. Is like Alicia's thought. Like as Maddie's trying to tell, like, oh, we can still be friends and all this. And Alicia's like, sure. Yeah, right. So basically she gets monosyllabic of be like whatever Maddie says, like, yeah. And like she has the Alicia face of like, I'm agreeing with you now, but I want you out of my face. Like, right now. Yeah. Yeah. And Maddie sees it. She's like, okay, well, I guess I'll just leave. And so, like you said, she literally runs to Eli, like, hey, emergency. Maddie's running for governor. She knows some inside goss that I told her about Peter. And at first Eli's like, you told her about you and Will? And she's like, no, I didn't tell him about me and Will. But yeah, there's some other stuff, just some other, like, I guess, like, annoying stuff about Peter or things how she feels about Peter and all of his scandals. So, and I think about it and I say, well, the genesis of this was not Maddie seeking out Alicia. Alicia fell into Maddie's lap via Diane, asking
Right.
about the leasing rental agreement of their building. So,
Maddie asked to talk to Alicia about that. Did she not?
But without Diane coming to her,
sure, okay.
Maddie wouldn't have necessarily had a reason to, unless you want to go all the way back and be like, Maddie bought that building because she knew it was Alicia, the building Alicia worked in, and she just knew Diane would come to her about the lease. But is there something to say that once Alicia did fall to Maddie's lap, Maddie did start thinking, this would be a good idea. But also, I think Maddie talking to Indira Starr is part of what kicked this off, because apparently Maddie does not believe at all about what Alicia's saying, what Eli's saying, what Peter's. For some reason, Maddie believes in Indira Starr, which I'm like, but if you believe in Indira Starr, you believe that Alicia's okay with this. I refuse to believe the person that you are calling a friend, Maddie, you would know that would not be okay with an open marriage. I'm like, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think this was a sinister thing that Maddie did? I tend to think no. I tend to think this is the idea she had after she met Alicia.
I agree with you. I think it's something like when we're introduced to her character, she's very much like, this is who I am. I set up my whole life to like live by my values, to do all this stuff. I'm trying to be the best person I can be, even though I have all this money, like trying to have my money do good. I think it's really messy, and I think it happens quite often in friendships in terms of like, let's be friends, but then also how small is this world? Like somebody knows somebody who knows somebody. And Maddie also was in like Eli's circle and stuff like that. And she's very involved in the political scene anyway, as an advocate, as a donor, as things like that. So she sees this as a way to live her mission, to help with her things and use her money for good. I just think it's unfortunate and it's messy in terms of how this, I'm like trying to think, is there another way she could have gone about it? She did have, the decency to come to Alicia and say, hey, I wanted you to be the first person to know before we announced that this is what's going on. So I do think that there was something like that, but I also understand from Alicia's point of view of like, I don't have any friends. I try to talk to the one person. Like first was friends with Kalinda and that went that way. And now I'm friends, with this lady, and this lady's, doing this. And so I kind of understand both ways. And I think it's just like the consequence of unfortunate events.
Yeah, for sure. And, I wanted to give Maddie the benefit of the doubt. And then she goes and tries to boss up on Peter. And I was like, you are a shark. And because Maddie basically goes and tells Peter, like, yo, I'm gonna crush you because I got money. You don't. But hey, I'll also, if you drop out now, I'll let you be my lieutenant governor.
Like she's also like, listen, you're not going to be governor either way, because I'll either crush you in the primary because I have money. If you win, Kristiva has more money than you. Like and I'm going to pull the female vote. I'm going to hurt you so much in the primary that you stand no chance against Kristiva. So if you want to be involved in government at all, the best thing for you to do is kind of just like drop out now and become my lieutenant governor. And
I was like, Maddie, you claim to do this because you don't like Peter, because Peter.
Why would you want to work with him?
Right. So but why are you now wanting him to? He's not good enough to be governor, but he's good enough to be lieutenant governor. I was like, that's weird. That's not cool.
Who do you think is advising her campaign?
I mean, Stacey Hall is the first name that leaps to mind.
Yeah.
Which would be an interesting way. We haven't heard anything about Eli's ex in a while, so I don't know if that's still going on. But I wouldn't be surprised if because Stacey Hall seems like the perfect person to be on Maddie's side. So I wouldn't be surprised if Stacey Hall comes back in that form. But yeah, what do you think of what Peter said to her? He was like, the worst thing than a liar is a hypocrite because they don't know they're lying. It's like very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, well, a couple of things were revealed in that. One, he's going to use, and I think he does care in this, like you used Alicia, and that's not good with me, but he's going to say that to like anything, like you did this wrong against my wife. I'm going to, like he's, that's his play. But I think when it comes to, he says, I have no problem. He admits to a couple of things before the hypocrite thing. I have no problem trusting a mobster, a con man. So those are things that he admits to doing, but I cannot trust a hypocrite because the hypocrite doesn't even know they're lying. And I get like sometimes he's been a hypocrite, sometimes, and also like the hypocrite. The definition of a hypocrite is what? Somebody who says something and does the opposite, right?
Yeah.
But what Maddie has done in the situation is that she has said something that was true for her at the time. And then she has switched her opinion and is now acting on what's true for her at that time. And people are allowed to change I think this is like where we get into like the whole cancel culture of it all. And like, this is like where we are right now as a society of like, people can't change their minds. They posted something like 800 years ago and held to account, which I do think that people should be made aware of what they posted. But like, we don't allow people to change. And so I think that here where Peter's doing the same thing to Maddie of saying like, you're a hypocrite when I don't think the label sticks.
Well, is it a hypocrite because it's like you say I should be governor because I'm a horrible person, but you think I should be governor? Like
maybe
you condemn me for these acts, but then you at the same time you ask me to work with you. Like,
yeah, that's true. Yeah. I guess then in that case, sorry, I was like, my first line is like Peter's wrong.
Yeah, I loved like as Maddie enters, like Peter's sick of making these financial calls. He's like, I'm done. Is there any more financial calls? And Eli is off somewhere, being like, of course there are more financial calls. Eli's being a little exhibitionist by like listening in on the Peter Maddie convo. So that was an interesting like end of that storyline.
But that whole thing is what gets Peter to say at the end of this, let's do this. Like, let's start it. So just as Alicia was like fired up to do the case, after she had met with Laura and everything and had her time in court, like I now kind of not fear, but I would not be surprised if some of Peter and Eli's more under the table dirtier work kind of comes out because of Maddie entering the race.
Yeah.
Although we don't have to worry about Mandy because Mandy got fired. Or maybe we do because maybe she'll start a blog. I don't know. I don't remember, but
I love that. Mandy's like, Eli, you got me fired. He's like, oh, sorry.
I'm so sad about it.
I do feel a little bit bad, I guess. Like, good on you, Eli. Good on you. Okay, so that was our episode, good folks. Marissa, you want to tell the good folks where they can find you on the interwebs and what you're talking about?
Well, Jason, besides right here on the Good Pod, both on podcasts and on YouTube, talking about both The Good Wife and Elsbeth, you can find me on Whirlwind Podcast Network talking about Pretty Little Liars, one previously on at a time, or talking about Star Trek The Next Generation with my sister, or on our podcast, the USS
New episode coming soon. New episode coming soon for the USS Sisterhood.
Yes, that is true. New episodes coming soon. And other than that, you can find links to everything at itsmemarissag.com. Jason, that's what's up with me. What's up with you?
You can check me out talking all about love shows. I'm curious as to know if anyone just knows me for this podcast. They're like, why is Jason talking about reality love shows? It is my main gig, to be honest. I am wrapping up talking about Love's Blind season 9 with my co-host Asia Welch and Mary Krakowski. Let's just say we are happy to be wrapping that season up, as it was a hot ass mess. So we just released our reunion recap in the last few days, so check that out. You can also hear me and Asia Welch talking about the show Married at First Sight. That is our main gig. We're talking about it on the Rob Has Podcast Network on the Love at First Sight feed. If you just type in Love at First Sight, you will find the feed for Married at First Sight, and the same feed has that Love is Blind content I was just talking about. If you just can't get enough with those things, you can join me and Asia over on Patreon, where we have bonus content about Married at First Sight, where we talk to Married at First Sight past participants about their thoughts on the current season. So that's where you can find me and all of my fun musings and fun things to talk about. So that's the episode for this week, you all. And until we see you next time, stay good.